Hey guys, welcome back to the Interceptor. Today we are here with another Alliance War. This is going to be Alliance War Season 33, Number 3, and ISO8A has matched up against LOXC, League of... I forget. And I have 9 fights today. I was actually assigned 10 fights, but they took one of the fights while I was sleeping. With someone else that had the same champion I have, which is completely fine. I was not complaining about it. It actually kind of was convenient for my boosting that they took it, but technically it wouldn't have cost me any extra boosts if I had taken it. It just, you know, they cleared, right? And they didn't die to the fight, so I have nothing to complain about. Not a big deal. But yeah, we have a whole 9 fights today with the team of Doom, Quake, and Spidey 2099. And all 3 champions get into this war quite a bit. So we are first boosting up for Section 1. I'm using 20% boost. I'm going to use 20% boost again. Or sorry, no, I actually use 30% boost for Section 2 and the Boss Island. So, excuse me. I'm using my science boost here because I have 1 Spidey 2099 fight and 4 Doom fights here. And then I also have a Quake fight on these boosts, but that doesn't really get affected by those class boosts. And we're on Path 5, Section 1, and then we're going over to Path 6, Section 2. This is another one of those wars that was not... that our regular guy did not plan. It was a different guy, and a couple of us, well, at least I know I did. I put my plan, or at least an idea of what I could do this war. I'm gonna pause this fight actually because this fight gets really funny in about 2 seconds. And I mentioned what paths I could do, and then he just happened to assign me those exact paths with all those fights. So that's what happened. And this fight goes insane. So if you guys don't know the way that Kitty works, if you hit into her phase, you take a bunch of damage. And I'm going to do it twice in this fight for 4 hits total. Watch, look at this. I tried to hit into her block. You saw that. You saw that right before I paused. She was blocking. So I go up to hit into her block to knock her back. And what does she do? She phases forward. So then I'm like, okay, she's almost at 2 bars. Let me throw my special. So as you can see, at this point, my special has already been thrown. And she dashes back. And she evades the first hit. So the first hit is not going to connect. And look at what she does. She dashes back in and phases all 3 hits. So from taking literally 0 damage from hits, because mind you, I have an invulnerability boost on at this time. So 3 times she hit me, she dealt no damage. From those 3 hits, or sorry, no, from no hits being taken, I'm already down to 40%. And the rest of this fight is like Kitty is a meme tier defender. She is a genuinely horrible defender everywhere on the map. She does not have a good node because she is just trash on defense. But we're just going to clean her up really easily. I don't understand the logic behind placing Kitty Pryde on defense. There are really 0 nodes she is good for. The only node she is half decent for is the is like Path 5, Section 2, but then you can just bring a ramped guillotine and not intercept, and it's the world's easiest fight. You can also bring Doom. Doom can do that fight by not intercepting the same way that you can do it against Nova. It's not a hard fight. So she's just a trash defender. And I have never once, and I never will once, ban her in 1v1 competitive unless there's like a weird node that interacts with her perfectly. But so far, neither of the ones that we've seen have been good for her. I will never ban her because she's garbage on defense. and that's the truth. So this second note, I had to use 2 potions. I end up only end up using 4 potions this entire war, which I was actually pretty happy with for taking excuse me, 9 fights. So this is Hitmonkey on the second nodes. This one also is heavy assault. So, or sorry, heavy hitter. Heavy assault is just the one where they do more damage. It's not the one where they're unstoppable. This is heavy hitter. And there's not really much to say about this fight. I mean, I got to my L3, I knocked him down, and then I threw my L3 and he died. I mean, that's literally it. At this point, I mean, he's not dead yet, but I think he dies before this Fury expires. I'm trying to get him to evade there. He doesn't, but I'm doing so much damage at this point. I think I'm just going to kill him on this combo before I even throw a special. Yeah. Alright. Very, very easy fight. Really, literally anyone in the game can take that Hitmonkey. It's an extremely easy fight. It doesn't really get a kill, and all it really is a free Corvus charge if you don't have an evade place. You don't have a better spot to get the evade. And this fight's pretty fun. I'm going to throw on invulnerability, invulnerability boost for this fight. This is Nova on Ebb and Flow Knockdown, SP1 Bias, and what's the node where every 10th hit is unblockable under block? I forget what it's called. But I'm actually going to start this fight taking an L1 to the face. That was pretty funny. I just threw away my invulnerability boost instantly. Probably would have been better off going for a regen boost. But yeah, we knock him down, throw my L3, and at this point he's dead. I mean, Nova takes a lot of damage on hits. He's not very physical. He's not a real high physical resistance champion, so there's not really much to him. I'm also running 5 out of 5 MD, but you know, he's dead in 45 seconds. Didn't really get to use that. And now we go up to a fight that I probably should have just used Doom for. This is rank 3 6-star Venom on Power Snack. Now, on paper, Spidey 2099 is great for this. You just want to get your L3 off first, then you get for your slow, because of course Venom has 2 ways to trigger the global, not just the unstoppable armor timer. He also has his symbiote timer, so every time that's about to produce a buff, I always back off and wait to see what happens. There I was getting really risky. I don't know why I did that, but every other time I'm gonna just back off. I don't think he goes unstoppable, but I don't actually know that for a fact. At this point, I was just trying to bait L1. He actually did get an armor up there from his permanent bank, or from his bank, and I just got lucky that he didn't trigger unstoppable, but that is exactly why you wait. So at this point, the fight's going perfectly. I mean, I'm not really doing much damage, and this is going to end up being a really long fight because I end up misplaying it. But I did get my slow debuff on, so now I'm just trying to dex. Right there, I was trying to dex, and I parried by accident. I'm just trying to bait L1 and not get hit in the face. What do you guys think is going to happen? Now that I've said that. I was trying to dex the second hit of his L1 because I've done it previously. That's usually how I do it when Venom throws an L1. And I need to get a dex off. It doesn't end up working out here. And my slow is really falling off. And then I take 3 hits to the face. 2 of the 3 hits bleed me. I throw my L2 to get some health back from because I'm a 6-star. And at this point my slow is almost gone. And I just push him over 50%. So with 50% of the fight left, I have 19, now 18% health. Now, I did just get a nice L2 off there that actually did a lot of damage, but unfortunately, the amount of power that you get back is not based on how much the L2 does. It's based off of how much the hits from the L2 does. So that's why Hercules doesn't get like double power back when he has 10 of his missions. What are they called? I forget what they're called. Now at this point, I threw that L1. Massive mistake. Massive mistake. What I should have done is I should have just gone to the L2. I was close. I just needed 2 more combos, and I would have been at my L2, and I could have thrown it. So there, I had to dash back again. So right here, I would have been at my L2 at that exact moment. I could have thrown it, and I would have killed him. But instead, I get super risky, and I go to 2 L1s, and I just barely managed to finish it. Now, in that fight, I never quite got pushed into Assassin's range. I think like I had maybe 1 or 2 parries at the end when I was at exactly 18%, that if the guy happened to be running Assassin, they could have failed, but I was anticipating that. I was ready for it. So now we're up here for another fight. This is going to be the first of my 2 Quake fights this war. I was supposed to have 3 Quake fights. Someone ended up taking one of my Quake fights on the boss island, but like I don't really care. Just it worked out better that way, so I'm pretty happy with how it went. But this is Ebony Maw on Mixmaster. This is just a bad placement. I mean, even Doom would just shred this fight. This is just not a good placement for Ebony Maw. There are a few notes he can be a little tricky. This is just not one of them, and it's the world's easiest Quake fight. I did ×2 speed it up. Normally, I would switch on suicides for a Quake war, or for a Quake fight, but this, I had a Doom fight immediately before, or 2 fights before, and I have a Doom fight immediately after. So, it was just pointless. And the fight's over. It was a very, very easy fight, and it was a perfect fight. Actually, both of my Quake fights this war are perfect Quake fights. So, very nice. So now we have this Apocalypse. This is actually a rank 4 APOC. I didn't notice that until right now. I had no clue this was a rank 4 APOC until I am recording this right now. I didn't notice when I went into the fight. I didn't notice this when I edited my clip. And like I didn't notice this when I was sending my clip into our Alliance War fight chat. I didn't notice this was a rank 4 until right now. That's so funny. I just didn't notice one bit. So he actually throws his L2, so I'm going to fully evade the L2. It's extremely easy and safe to evade if you just practice it a few times. But I'm extremely comfortable with it. So there, if you'll notice, I intentionally blocked the first hit. So that was his medium attack on the dash, and parried the second. The reason I did that is because one block, so just the parry there, would not have been enough for this L3 to be able to drain enough power to get me back to my L2 upon throwing this L1. And I knew that. I knew it would not be enough power, so I had to do 2 hits. It actually works out really well here as well, because that extra hit means that my light attacks after that are giving me more power than they would normally. So I had enough power to get back to an L3. And then here, I'm just going to combo back. I was trying to cycle back into my L1, kill him with the L2, but he died too fast. So yeah, that's actually cool. That was a rank 4 APOC. I didn't even notice. And now we are on to the last fight. So I have I have 3 of the last 4 fights in the BG. One guy waited to take his last fight because he didn't have enough energy when he was clearing his section 1, so he left like his last fight in section 2, and he cleared after me. But pretty much I have all the remaining fights. I didn't actually have any 30% boost, so I'm going to use this 6-hour 30% boost. Kind of a waste to use it for just 3 fights, especially when it's over like a 5-minute period and not over a 6-hour period like it was intended. But I'm using the max science boosts that I can here. I did throw on that special 3 defense boost. But this is a Quake fight. This is Bishop on path 6. This is kind of an irrelevant path. There are a few defenders that are a little tricky here, but very few. Bishop is not one of them. Now, there is one trick to Quaking Bishop, and that is that if you start the fight charging heavy attack and you lose the coin flip and he goes for a light attack rather than a medium, he will whiff the light attack. And if you don't react to that by not letting go of heavy, so what I should actually say is by not reacting, you'll be safe. But if you react to his light attack and you dash back, you release the heavy, which either gets you comboed or you connect a heavy, neither of which you want. So that was actually a mistake. I let off a heavy one time. So the way you want to Quake Bishop is you want to back yourself into the corner before you start quaking. I've only really noticed that's an issue against two champions, which are Bishop and MODOK. Although MODOK's animations are currently bugged, so it's actually normal MODOK you don't do that for, or you don't have to. And then that heavy attack was intentional because I thought it would do enough damage to kill. It didn't, so we just waited out the next stun cycle and he was dead. Now we are up to our last Doom fight of the war, which is going to be this Korg. Now, I could have absolutely quaked this fight. I'm extremely comfortable quaking Korgs. I used to quake Korg on Mixmaster all the time, back when that was the meta placement with Stubborn. But yeah, basically, I threw on I didn't even throw on a invulnerability boost. I threw on a regen boost for this fight, which is just hilarious because I didn't want to use a potion. And I knew that both an L1 boost and an SP1 boost are completely worthless here. So this does actually have the node where if you block the opponent's special attacks, if you block 3 of the hits, he actually becomes permanently unblockable, which is not super fun. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to evade the specials, but the first one, I actually blocked the first hit by mistake. So here I was just getting my intercepts. There I went for a light attack. He didn't go for it. So I'm going to do a full combo, but I let up my combo short so that I could do another combo to try to push him over 2 bars so that my L1 would get me back to an L2. It's unfortunately not going to work out, so my L1's not going to get me back to my L2. But I believe I just do a few hits. So yeah, I managed to throw my L3 before his rock shield, which is what I wanted. But yeah, here I'm just going to reparry, I think. I went for the reparry, but he didn't want to hit me. He went for heavy, and then we killed with the L2. Very, very easy fight, and I actually gained like 3% health. So good job, Doom. So now we're up to our last fight, and I do something really, really stupid that I don't know why I did. I go into this fight, and I use the wrong boost. But then I correct myself and I use the right boost. So really, I just piss away an invulnerability boost. Because you can't die in this fight, let's be clear. Spidey can't die. Spidey is immortal against the boss, especially when you're running suicides and healing the entire fight. I did actually do a cut there, so if you look at the time of me exiting the Korg fight, there's like a half a second time, and then the clock jumps ahead like a minute and a half. I did cut that out. I was just changing my masteries to full suicides. So yeah, I threw on an invulnerability boost because it's a boss, and that's like instinct, and then I realized, oh, I'm using Spidey. Invulnerability boost does literally nothing. And I put on my SP1 boost that I'm supposed to use. So the reason I use a special 1 boost is because the strategy in this fight is to get to an L3, throw it, and then just stick to L2s. Now, he actually did get 2 unstoppables there back-to-back, so before I get to an L3, he actually gets pretty good RNG with keeping up his, or with getting a bunch of unstoppables. There, he got it the first 4 armor ups. He got it the first 4. I don't think he gets it right here. No, and I'm also going to wait out that one. No, he didn't get it his last 2, but he got it the first 4, which is crazy. So I'm going to bait out this last L1, so he's at 0 power. Going to take that L1 to the face, because why not? But as you can see in the title of this video, I finished this fight with a full yellow bar. So, spoiler alert, I'm not going to die. But this is actually the exact fight that I took in that war last season where I said I forgot to record. This is that fight. Pretty much the exact same boosts against the exact same opponent. But the major difference is that I somehow managed to take an extra 90 seconds this time. That time, it was 2 minutes to solo a rank 3 Nimrod boss. This time, it's 3.5 minutes. I don't really know what the difference is. I think the difference is in that fight, I was mostly baiting L2s, and in this one, the war was already over, and I was like one of the last people to clear. So I was like, I'm just going to take this fight insanely slow. Like, as slow as I literally possibly can. And I'm just going to bait L1s because those have the added bonus of giving me my opportunity to deck to keep my debuffs up. So there I did actually throw my L2, and it does really good damage. So I'm doing very solid damage in this fight. Also, you don't have to worry about willpower because he's a robot, which is why Medusa, and Nebula would both work as options for him. But obviously Medusa's way better. But I don't really have a ton to say about this fight. It's just kind of slow and really by the book. Like, it's a very by the book fight. Now, if I had just stuck to the strategy of hitting into his block, getting a ton of ruptures, this fight would have been way faster, but I don't. I go by the plan of doing full combos into him. But unfortunately, because my Spidey's duped, I would lose all my ruptures every time he got to a bar of power, which is the main reason that I'm not doing that. But, you know, it's alright. At this point, I think if I get to one more L1, I win this fight. And I'm still at 100%. So there, I just do 2 hits like that. Throw another L2, and he's dead. Little bit under 3.5 minutes. Like I said, the time I took this before that took 2 minutes. I don't know where that extra 90 seconds came from. I guess I just played way slower. To be fair, at the time I took that other fight, I was kind of busy, and I was like rushing my fights. Because luckily I had 3 ghost fights, and then Spidey versus Nimrod boss, which was 2 minutes, which was pretty fast. But this time, I guess I was just chill. I was sitting in my room. This is the first war since I got back. I was sitting in my room on my bed when I did these fights. It was like 30 to 40 minutes after I woke up. I did my fights before I left for work. And yeah, I guess I was just not rushing, not really worrying about it, and that's why it took so much longer. But we didn't die, and I'm actually extremely happy with that war. It's the best war I've had this season. Also, the most fights I've taken in quite a while, with 9 fights total. But we are now 3-0 on the season. I think the score was like 35-5. I really need to start checking before I record these videos, because I could be like really far from what the actual score was. I know we beat them, and I know we died like 5 times. But other than that, I have no clue. So we are now 3-0 on the season. I have 0 deaths on the season so far, and my PSR is at 22 out of 22, which is 100%. And my deathless streak is up to 28. So that is all for this war. And as of this war, I'm officially caught up in Alliance Wars. So this war is not going to get uploaded tomorrow, which is the day that War 4 starts. It's going to get uploaded the day War 4 ends. And then War 4 is going to get uploaded the day War 5 starts. Yeah. So it's going to look like I'm behind, but as of the time I'm recording this, this is actually the most recent war. And this is the first time I've been caught up in wars in like a full season, so pretty much a month. And as of this one, I actually have no unuploaded videos sitting fully edited, already ready to go on my computer, which is again the first time that's happened in a while, because the way I do stuff is I record a video, I edit it, and then it sits on my computer for a week, unuploaded, and God knows why I do that, but that's the way I do things. But that's not the case anymore because I have 2 videos going live tomorrow. This one goes live the day after, and then another war video that starts tomorrow is going to go live the day after that. So that is going to be all for today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys later. Bye. I know that's a long video, 25 minutes for a war video, geez, but at least I had 9 fights and a boss. So, bye.